former Supercross champion Jeff Emig. And it's thrown back to 1986 tonight, and an epic battle that took place here between Rick Johnson and David Bailey. And hopefully the fact that it's retro night explains the unique get-ups. Jeff, you were here in 1986. How has this weekend been for you?
Well, it's been awesome with all of the legends of Supercross have been in town. We had huge autograph sections all weekend. They have retrofitted the racetrack, exact track from 1986 that the riders will be on. Racers have retro gear, fans have been dressed up. Of course, we're dressed like this, paying homage to one of the most epic battles in Supercross history. We have had so much fun.
It has been a lot of fun, but we actually do have some serious news tonight. A breaking story developing just before we turn the stadium lights off regarding the reigning champion and the man currently tied for the points lead, James Stewart. For more on that story, here's our Aaron Bates.
Very big news. James Stewart backing out of Anaheim 2 just 1 hour before the event actually starts. James, what exactly happened?
Well, about 5 weeks ago, actually a little bit later than that, I actually ended up having a tire problem and came off a triple. A tire blew out and I hurt my knee again. And you know, I've been just kind of dealing with it. I haven't rode since actually December 20th. That's when it happened, and I just been trying to suck it up every weekend. But every weekend it's just getting worse and worse. And then finally I went out there today, and my knee feels just really unstable. And you know, it's to the point now. There's nothing I can do about it except for, you know, get it fixed.
Any idea of when we'll see you next?
I don't know. I mean, I'm a fan of the sport. I definitely want to just keep coming and just being around the sport, you know, just because I get hurt. I'm not going into hibernation. I'm going to be around and, you know, supporting everybody. So I don't know when I'll be racing again, most likely the outdoor season, but I'll be around for sure.
The reigning champ is out for tonight, maybe this season. But Throwback Night rolls on speed. This, the most American of motorsports. The champions of Supercross have raced their way to legendary status through the often spectacular history of the sport. Today's vintage of rider is no exception. Brave, quick, and determined. These riders search for the elusive prize of conquering man, machine, and earth as they look to carve their names next to the great champions of history.
You were smiling by my table, had a call up every one that day. Beautiful, mind and body, what a happy ending I see.
Monster Energy AMA Supercross and FIM World Championship is back at Angel Stadium in Anaheim, California for round 3 of the 2008 Supercross Championship Tour. 1986 is what we're paying homage to, and here's some of the things that were big back in 1986. President was Ronald Reagan. Gas, I wish we could see that again, 93 cents. Number 1 on the charts, that's what friends are for. I'm sure you have that on cassette tape, Jeff.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, a lot of stuff, but you know what? They've also fit the racetrack as it was in 1986. Let's take a look at our MX versus ATV Untamed track map.
Retrofitted, as you can see, left-hand side, your start straight, 318 feet with a kicker in the start straight into a right-hand first turn. Get all the way through the track, huge triple. It's a tight track.
Now to our own material girl. Here's Erin with a Progressive pre-race report.
It was nothing but the sweet smell of the two-stroke engine back in '86, but tonight is nothing but 4 strokes attacking this track. Tonight's track, a very technical one for all of these riders. Very little flow, very little rhythm. But something that is very different this weekend, a 315-foot straightaway right out of the gate, over a separation bump, and then into a very sharp right-hand turn. In fact, this is the first right-hand start straight turn that we've seen in over 15 years. this year in Supercross. You can expect to see a bit of a pileup take place there, especially because the riders will be taking their right foot off of the back brake. For some guys, this track is challenging, but for others, change is good.
Crowd is all revved up here in Anaheim. Let's take a look at the highlights now from heat number 1. Grant Langston gets the whole shot in heat 1. First one to the corner. But it won't stay that way as they go over the massive 75-foot triple.
And that's Davey Millsaps just inside 75 for triple on that 450, just seat bouncing it. That was an awesome pass to steal the lead away here and start this night out on such a special night. Definitely on the right foot.
Hansen on the Yamaha. Working Jason Thomas inside. That's the position.
And look right there, Thomas makes a little mistake. This is it's like a wall that these riders hit. The bikes almost come to a complete stop, then they accelerate back down.
Back up front, now the battle is tightened up. We saw Davey Millsaps made a small mistake, and it cost him a lot of time. Look at this, Jeff.
And here's that mistake. He's gonna triple out of here, but just gets crossed up. Amazing that he stays on the bike. The bike almost took out from under him. That would have definitely thrown away the heat race. And here comes Grant Langston with one last turn charge.
Langston making a run at him. Boy, he's really laying it all out there, but Millsaps just fast enough to stay in front. And Langston makes the boggle, and he knows that's going to cost him. Millsaps takes the win. Langston goes to second, and now we switch back to the final transfer. Gomez, Way, and Vuillemin. Nick Way on the 27. Paul Carpenter is in there as well.
And he has no breathing room at all. David Vuillemin just out of qualifying position.
Gomez. Sorby's across. Gomez, Carpenter, and Way. David Vuillemin misses the transfer spot on the factory Suzuki. He's going to the last chance qualifier. Davey Millsaps, the winner of heat number 1, and David Bailey's been having so much fun here on Throwback Night that he was the last rider to leave the autograph table earlier today. We'll be right back for more from Anaheim after these words.
Truckers will
Nice crowd on hand cheering that group for Ivan Tedesco. We'll see Ivan here in heat number 2. But here's a look at the results from heat number 1, and these 9 riders going on to the main. And a big stunner, David Vuillemin not making the transfer out of the heat race. Down to Aaron now with Davey Millsaps.
Davey Millsaps lost 20 pounds before the season started just so he could pull off a whole shot like we saw him. Congratulations on that heat race win, Davey, but how important is a whole shot going to be on this track tonight?
Oh, the whole shot is everything on this track. You know, it's a lot of one line, but you know, you just got to be aggressive to pass, and I didn't get the whole shot, but I came over here first.
Some squirrely riding taking place. We saw you out there on your pegs. How different is it out there?
Oh, it's different. You know, I hit the face, and I think there was a rock in there or something. I was totally sideways, and I was like, you got to be kidding me. Here it goes. You know, just throw this one away. But, you know, I held on to it somehow. I don't know, but it was a good race. I just want to thank American Honda, Red Bull, my trainer Johnny, who's made me lose all that weight. He's doing great for me, and my mechanic Carlos and everyone around me. Just appreciate it.
Now you can get the latest race results and news right on your phone with weekly green alerts from Speed. Text KX to 773333 on your mobile phone to receive free motorcycle racing text alerts. Speed Green Alerts presented by Kawasaki. There's Rick Johnson on the number 5 and David Bailey on that specially prepared number 6 so he could come out and ride with them. These were the 2 riders that made 1986 such an epic battle. Great to have them both back out here, especially to see David Bailey back on top of a motorcycle after those horrific injuries. Welcome back, David. We also had a bunch of great legends here earlier signing autographs, and we talked to them about why today was so special.
Anaheim '86 was actually the first Supercross I ever saw in person, so it brings back cool memories for me. But it's cool to be you know, able to sit up here with all these great riders and great champions and legends and icons of the sport.
I don't see these guys all the time, so it's cool to see them and bring back some camaraderie that we had racing with the high level intensity and all that. So it's just cool to see everybody.
Yeah, it's a cool deal. Yeah, I'm glad to be a part of it. It's I started racing in '87, so I missed this one, but it's cool. I'm glad they're doing it.
Oh, it's fun. It's seeing people we haven't seen in years. You know, a lot of guys here come to the races quite a bit, but there's a lot of them from around the country we haven't seen since the 80s probably. So
it's fun to see some old faces that you don't get to see very often. And I mean, some of the people still work in the industry get to say hi to them once in a while, but other ones you don't see but once in a blue moon, and this is just the perfect blue moon for it. So
the participation from the fans is pretty amazing. So I came here to show support and to be a part of it and see what it's all about, and it's really, really cool and neat to see.
There's a good look at some of the huge crowd that is on hand here at Angel Stadium. Let's take a look now at the highlights of heat number 2. Wow, Mike Alessi comes flying out of the box. And he's got Kevin Windham right with him. Windham inside the Honda rider.
Nobody triples on the first lap.
Chad Reed charging up through the field.
There goes Sammy, he dropped him. Josh Hill, one more to go.
Who's got the acceleration? The Yamaha and the Honda matching pace down the long stretch. And Tedesco fights him off. Inside is Reed. Who's going to take the triple? Both of them do. Windham takes the win. It has been a rocking time here at Angel Stadium all day long, and a lot of it took place earlier to show you the sights and sounds from the pit party. Supercross here at Angel Stadium in Anaheim, California. Heat 2 is completed here in Anaheim. Let's show you the results of the next 9 riders going on to the main event. Kevin Windham will take this pack along with him. Cole Siebler is going to have to try to work his way out of the last chance qualifier with the rest of the riders that did not transfer out of the heats. Let's go meet Kevin Windham, who's standing by with Aaron.
Kevin Windham also celebrating his very first heat race win of the season. Kevin, you're like a whole different animal out there during your heat race than what we saw during practice. Did you go back and change something on your bike setup, or was it something that you changed mentally?
Yeah, the heats have been a lot better than the day's been going for us, and Torco Racing Fuels Honda team's been working hard all day long. Night comes, the lights come on, and we seem to have things together. It feels great.
Now, you were here way back when. What do you think of Throwback Night?
Well, I got to thank No Fear for hooking me up with the retro gear, and it's been really cool. The track's actually really difficult. It's not like what we're used to. It's tough to ride. It's going to be interesting, man. I think everybody's really tight. I think we're going to see some mayhem tonight.
Good luck in the main event.
Thank you.
On February 20th, Pinks returns for an all-new season with all new rules. More racing, more drama, more to lose. Don't miss the season premiere of Pinks, February 20th, 9 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Pacific, part of Premiere Week on Speed. 2 spots left in our main event for the Supercross class. They'll come out of the last chance qualifier. Here's a look at the highlights. Final lap here in the last chance qualifier. David Vuillemin on the number 12. Trying to hang on for the win. Ramsey doing everything he can to hang on to the final transfer as they make their way to the checkers. Final corner. David Vuillemin wins the last chance qualifier. Nathan Ramsey will finish in second. Here's a look at the results from the last chance qualifier. Vuillemin and Ramsey are moving on. We're moving to break, but the main event is yet to go. Stay with us. California, the birthplace of Supercross, and these fans love their Supercross here at Angel Stadium. Coming up next on Speed, go beyond the highlights and beyond the stats as Speed connects you to the world of motorsports like you've never experienced before. The Speed Report coming up next, only on Speed. Well, tonight is a lot about that famous race that took place here at Angel Stadium back in 1986. We had an opportunity to talk to some of the folks that were a large part of that race as to what makes it so special.
It was probably, as Supercross goes, one of the finest races I've ever seen. There was just so much battling through it. It was incredible.
And those guys were just back and forth, just hitting each other and through the sand and everything else. It was just amazing. I lost my voice that night. It was truly an amazing race.
It's by Bailey's right next to him. Holy smoke, he wastes no time at going for the jugular.
It was quite a battle that night between Bailey and Johnson. And I remember the jumps were pretty extreme. The peaks were really peaky. There was no downside to them. So if they overjumped them, it was like almost instant crash, you know, and one would save it, and one would run off the track.
It's an all-out battle for first place. Teammates or no teammates, only one of them can take home the title.
You know, I knew David, Johnny, Brock was going to be tough, Wardy was going to be tough, but honestly, the guy that I really wanted to beat was David Bailey. So going into the main event, we both had fast, real quick times in our qualifiers. I said to him, hey, we're both fast. I'm gonna do everything I can to beat you, but I promise I won't take you out.
Well, another bump, and this time, Johnson is going to use the loss of Bailey's momentum to his advantage.
Those two guys went tooth and nail, and when one would falter a little bit, he'd manage to find whatever it took to get himself back up there.
Look at this, Bailey on the inside pulls the lead and takes it back again. That's the 4th time in a lap that we've had the lead change.
I was so nervous the whole race that I didn't really get to enjoy it, but I understood that from the noise of the crowd, the fact that we were passing each other back and forth, it was like a Rocky movie. I kept passing Rick and I thought it was over, and he'd come back underneath me and bump me again.
When I think about it, it was just he and I. I wanted to beat him more than anything, but it wasn't a bad thing. I wouldn't take him out. I could have broke his leg. He could have broke my leg. There was contact, most definitely.
When he finally got tired, made some mistakes, and left me out in the clear, I was like, man, because it was a hard fight and I could relax those last couple laps. It's been a long time, but always good memories.
It was so close, but at the same time, it was so much fun to watch, you know. When you see that good a race, you know, as a rider or as a spectator, that's the next best thing to being there yourself, you know, to see a race like that.
The riders are making their way into the starting gate as we get set for the main event here at Angel Stadium. Last night, while the track was quiet, our Jeff Emig sat down with Rick Johnson and David Bailey to talk about that epic battle that took place on this very same course.
22 years ago, Anaheim Stadium hosted what could be the most epic battle in Supercross of all time. And I have the two principal riders of that night here with me, Rick Johnson and David Bailey. You guys, that was one of the greatest shows on earth that we had ever witnessed. And still to this day, we talk about that night. We're actually celebrating it this weekend. Take me through the mood leading up to that event.
Well, there was a lot going into that event. You know, we were racing in the Golden State Series, and Jeff Ward pretty much handed it to us all Golden State long. I got sick. We were having trouble with the bikes. That was the year that we went to production bikes in '86, and Wardy was on fire. So we thought, you know, we could go in there and salvage maybe, you know, the two of us or three of us try to get on the podium, we'll be doing good. And then Wardy had his problem, doesn't make the main event, doesn't even get to go into the semi. So that pretty much changed the whole makeup of the main event for us.
You know, yeah, like Rick said, the preseason races went way different. O'Mara was actually riding really well too, and he injured his knee 2 weeks before this race. So he wasn't even sure if he was going to be able to ride. And I think the beauty of it was that, not for Johnny, but for Rick and I, was that we were struggling in the preseason stuff, and Lachine and Jeff Ward were doing really well. So maybe Kawasaki kind of sat back and figured, we're ready. And Honda went to work. So when we got here, our bikes had a little bit more power. He found a more rideable power, and I did a lot of work in the final prep, and I think it made all the difference.
So we've got Ricky Johnson in the lead, but now instead of 9 seconds by, Bailey's right next to him. Holy smoke, he wastes no time at going for the jugular. Goes right for the lead right there, and Johnson on the inside line has got guts. Look at this, side by side into the corner, a wide open straightaway in front of him, and there's no holding back.
The speed that we were carrying, because the guy on the outside had so much speed, and the guy overtaking would always have to go to the inside. And there was bumps. I mean, I think the hardest hit was me hitting David wheel to wheel, but it was never.
Yeah, that was pretty hard.
It wasn't that hard. I should have knocked you down.
Again, we're looking at those monster roofs. Wow, a great pass the way that Bailey went through there on the outside of the sand. He went a lot higher than Ricky, and Ricky very nearly T-boned him right there in the corner.
So now it's 22 years later. We're celebrating it this weekend. What are you guys' feelings on, you know, how much emphasis and how much people remember from this event and how it goes down as one of the greatest races? What's going through your mind at this point?
Well, for me, I mean, David and I went through so much in our lives, you know. David obviously, you know, suffering the biggest wound that a racer can have, and you know, he's in a wheelchair. And I'll never forget the phone call I got when they said David's paralyzed. And then seeing the videos with him and Gina, the beard, and talking about how he's going to be back. And when a guy that has been everything to you as far as your motivation, your adversary, the reason that you run that extra mile, that you don't eat that candy bar, is gone, it really takes something from you. And then my career, I mean, that was really the jump start of me having a lot of success, and in a way I felt guilty because I knew that I wouldn't have won as much if David was there. And like I said before, I'm not taking anything away from all our competitors, but it would have been different if David would have been healthy.
For me to see what is happening here, you know, at this race, to revisit, you know, our battle it's an honor, you know, because he gave it all he had, and you know, I was able to. It was my night. If he hadn't have fought so hard to try to win that race, then we wouldn't be talking about it. It wouldn't be anything. It wouldn't mean anything. So you know, the kind words from Rick towards me, I really appreciate it, and right back at you. You know, I mean, he was such a fighter. That's why the race was great. That's why we're here again, revisiting it.
As a young rider that was here that night, a kid that grew up dreaming of being motocross racers just like you guys, I want to thank you for your effort and your dedication as racers. And thanks again for your time.
My pleasure, Fro. Thank you. All right. Thanks, David.
Last night, it was quiet. Tonight, it was rocking as opening ceremonies got underway, and now we're set to go round and round with the main.
Out on the streets, that's where we meet. You make the night, I always cross the line.
This Valentine to the longest off-road race below the equator. Well, Ryan Millen, following his father's tracks, or fall victim to the muddy pine forests of New Zealand. Don't miss the Two Roads to Taupo, January 25th, 9 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Pacific, only on Speed. Well, as you can see, the riders are getting set to get this one underway. Before we drop the gate on the main, let's get another Progressive pre-race report from Aaron.
Over the last couple of decades, there's been a lot of progression in the technology and development of the bikes, but there's also been a lot of progression in the gear. And I'm not talking just about the color, I'm talking about the quality, the durability, and the breathability of all of this gear. The jerseys, for instance, a lot more durable, a lot more breathable for these guys, but especially the pants. The pants nowadays have been articulated to conform to the riders while they're in the seated position to make it a little bit more comfortable for these guys, and also a little bit of leather on the inside of the knees for a little additional grip to hold these guys onto their seats. With all of this in mind, including some safety, it makes for optimal conditions for all of these riders. Guys, back to you.
Aaron, how far and how hard did you have to dig to find the gear you're wearing here tonight?
Well, boys, it's sad but true, but I really did not have to dig all that deep.
Looks great, though. Our own material girl here tonight. Here's a look at their Supercross main event up close. 20 riders in our 20-lap main event. I don't know, I thought we looked pretty good in our Miami Vice attire.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I had to dig pretty deep.
And he won, our first race winner was Chad Reed. We'll see if he can duplicate here again tonight.
Well, he's going to try to go 2 for 2 here at Angels Stadium this year. When Anaheim won, trying to win Anaheim 2, finished second in Chase Field in Phoenix a week ago. No James Stewart, if you're just joining us, re-injured his knee, not able to compete tonight. There you see Kevin Windham. He won heat number 2. Maybe he can get his first main event win this year. Chad Reed looking to get his second win of 2008.
And speaking of gear, he's actually switched his gear up, wearing special stuff here for the main event.
Here we go, main event from Anaheim. Mike Alessi with another rocket start out of the gate. Gets the Progressive hole shot. Skying over that huge 75-foot triple jump. And Alessi is still out front until Reed squares him up in the corner.
Reed means business. He knows with James Stewart out, has an excellent opportunity to take control of this series.
He came into the night tied for the points lead with Stewart. But I'll tell you what, Davey Millsaps is pretty serious too, back there on that red Honda, number 118.
And how good has Mike Alessi been with his starts this season? That's 2 in a row.
He's been an absolute rocket. And you can see Reed trying to check out to the best of his ability. But Alessi's not being shaken too fast. Alessi, Millsaps, Hill, Hansen, and Windham all in the top 6.
Look at that. Millsaps has got a really good line through there. He closed up on the back of Alessi.
Now he'll try to swing to the outside. Here's some of that sand that's been so tricky tonight. And Jeff, that's been one of the problems, is that there was really no place for these guys to go to practice for this type of racetrack.
I mean, they would have to go in a time machine and go back 20 years. You know, back to the future, if you will, to find anything like this. It's been great for racing.
There you see Reed out front. Alessi sitting solid in second. And how about Hill back in fourth as we see Millsaps trying to sneak a look inside. Josh Hill doing a great job. Oh, Millsaps! Big mistake! Off into the tough blocks.
But that was the section that I said he had so dialed, and going into that section, he hit a little sand, a little rut, threw him off balance. That's really going to drop him back in the pack.
Well, and it helps out Alessi, and the hole shot helped Alessi as well as we take a look at our progressive hole shot replay.
Right there's Alessi on the yellow Suzuki. Look at that. This hole shot is his all the way. Gets on the binders. Nice turn. Bike loop between him and second. Beautiful start.
Here's a pass for the lead. Reed right inside of it.
Not such a beautiful line there to give up the lead.
And now Millsaps' problem.
Just gets off balance and hits the tough blocks. Fortunately, rebounds fairly quickly.
Josh Hill now inside of Alessi. That's for second.
And I'm guessing that this 450 machine that Josh Hill is on is really agreeing with him. Remember last year he was on a 250F. He was a rookie in Supercross. This is only his the beginning of his second season ever. And he's already in the second position in a Supercross main event. This is an unbelievable ride for Josh Hill tonight.
And he really had to talk to him into letting him ride the bigger bike.
He went and bought a 450 Yamaha with his own money, started riding it, and then came to some test sessions and talked with all of the riders, with all of the Yamaha team managers, and said, look, this is what I want to do with my career. Believe in me, I can do it. And now he's proving it to everyone.
And boy, if he can make it up onto the podium, that would be a huge step for him tonight. And look who's coming. Here comes Kevin Windham on the number 14 Honda. He's challenging Alessi for third. The rejuvenated, re-energized Kevin Windham has been fast all season long so far in 2008, and he's looking to get up on the podium tonight.
And this track tonight has suited Kevin Windham. Remember, he won as heat race, but he has just been so dialed in. Look at this section. He nails it, closes up on the back of Mike Alessi.
Then gets to the inside, gains even more ground.
And Alessi putting up a great fight here tonight. He knows this is the final position to grab a trophy. He's not going to give it up easy.
A very determined rider is Mike Alessi. And Windham tries to square him up, but cuts short from running right into him. Windham trying to jump in front of him, gets to the inside and takes over third.
Nice move, Kevin Windham. He is absolutely flowing tonight on a track that has no flow, that's throwing all the riders off of their rhythm.
Except this guy, Chad Reed, the Australian, looking for his second win in 2008 and trying to lay claim solidly to the points lead.
Well, and you got to feel that with 7 laps to go, or we're lap 7 of 20 in this main event, that just the idea of James Stewart being out is going to help his confidence.
Chad Reed leading in Anaheim. Stay with us on Speed. Supercross, an FIM World Championship continuing here in Anaheim as Chad Reed leads with 9 laps completed. Back to the battle for 5th, and this is a good one. A pair of Yamaha riders. The 100 is Josh Hansen. The 25, Nathan Ramsey, Chad Reed's teammate.
And actually, Charles Summey is an 8th. Oh, I guess that'd be behind Tedesco, but all 3 of those riders were locked together at Phoenix. These 2 riders have been battling.
Ramsey inside, takes a position, but can he hold it? Boy, Hansen gets it back. And boy, has he been riding very well as of late.
Week after week, Josh Hansen seems to be more comfortable with this team, more comfortable with this bike. But I'll tell you a rider here that's closing up on the back, Ivan Tedesco. You can see in practice, you can see in every lap that he rides that he wants it. He is just, each week he's giving a huge effort, just trying so hard.
And Ivan is coming up real strong here, Aaron. He's going to make a bid for these guys.
Ivan Tedesco wants this more than anything. When I caught up with him earlier this afternoon, he said he had a really great week of testing. They swapped up some stuff with the suspension. They did a lot of tire changes. He said he's worked way too hard to have a 15th place and a 5th place. He says he expects himself to be up on the podium tonight.
Well, he's working on getting himself into the top 5 right now. Here's that massive triple.
See the riders kind of having to fall in line through here.
And Millsaps is coming up as well, Jeff. He's right behind them.
And Ramsey makes a mistake. That's Tedesco. 1 more position.
That puts him in 6th.
You could see with Ivan Tedesco's riding that normally in the past years, even when he was Lights champion, very smooth rider. I think what he has done here lately is he has forced himself to get out of his comfort zone, to ride a little over his head, a little more crazy, a little wilder than normal, to try to break out of that slump that he had been in.
Trying to break out of the back half of the top 5, and he does so. He moves himself into 5th as he gets around Hansen. So Tedesco's in 5th. Reed, Hill, Windham, Alessi, and Hansen make that Tedesco in 5th.
And who's that sneaking up behind this group here? Just behind Hansen, 100 on the blue bike is 118 of Davey Millsaps. Back on the throttle.
Millsaps up to 7th. And it's going to be a rough night for the Kawasaki bunch, because Tim Ferry is all the way back in 9th. And no James Stewart. Oh, problems again for Millsaps.
And this group has got a lot of talented riders. Look who's sneaking up at the back of this pack, but number 15, Tim Ferry. Last week in Phoenix, Ferry and Millsaps both got together in the main event. We're off the track. Here, A2, they're battling from back in the pack once again.
There's Hansen. There you see Ramsey trying to hold off Ferry. Tim on that green 15.
And you got to remember, Tim Ferry is the only rider flying the team green flag this weekend with James Stewart, his teammate, out. Having to recover from what appeared to be a horrible start, or at least bad track position.
Reed, while this battle continues, is about 7.2 seconds in front of Hill. There you see him. Comfortable out front. Question's going to be, can anybody challenge Reed now? We used to say, can anybody challenge Stewart, but this is going to quickly become Reed's championship, not just to win, but maybe to lose.
And I tell you, Chad Reed out front, nice, comfortable lead, 7.3 seconds over Yamaha rider Josh Hill. Take a look, you can see him at the back of your screen right here.
Pass each other going in opposite directions.
43's the lap rider, that's Jeff Gibson. This is one incredible ride for Josh Hill, because he struggled in the lights class, just could not find his rhythm. He had a few good rides here and there, but not like this. Not on this grand of stage on a night like tonight with, you know, multiple legends of Supercross watching. He has really elevated his ride here tonight, and I'm telling you, the Yamaha guys have to be extremely happy that they gave in to Josh Hill.
That was money
let
well
him ride the 450.
It was money well spent by him to get himself that bike and prove to them that the 450 is where he needed to be.
I wonder if they bought it back from him.
In fact, Josh Hill finished on the podium of the second Anaheim race in the lights class here last year.
Yes, good ride that night.
Here's Kevin Windham back in third, trying to reel in Josh Hill, see if he can make a bid for second here. You can see Hill in front of him.
And Kevin Windham has been strong this year. He has finished strong, 4 seconds off of Josh Hill. 5 laps to go, so.
Now how far back is Alessi? Mike Alessi is about another 6 seconds back, Aaron.
It was questionable earlier this afternoon whether or not we were going to even see Mike Alessi show up on the starting line. When I talked to him right before second practice, he was holding his right knee. He said he's in excruciating pain, and he didn't think that he was even going to ride this evening. Obviously, he's out here riding on sheer adrenaline, and it's getting him through.
Getting him through in fourth.
Well, and going back to that 1986 theme, Johnny O'Mara, unbelievable ride to be third on the podium 2 weeks before that, a Golden State race. Completely damages his knee, grits it out just like Mike Alessi's doing here tonight. Tell you, that's a pretty strong ride, and it's Mike Alessi really wants to prove to everyone, prove to his team manager Roger DeCoster, his new mechanic Mike Gosler, that he's the man for this Suzuki ride, and he's going to do whatever he has to do to get these good finishes. And if it means riding a little bit of pain, then so be it.
And also a little bit of irony in the fact that there was a Kawasaki rider that night in 1986 who didn't get to ride the main, who came into the night as the guy to beat.
And the reigning champion.
And he was the reigning champion, Jeff Ward. And it's the same thing that happens to James Stewart here tonight.
Kawasaki just as soon this 86 throwback thing go away, I believe.
Yeah, they're not going to want to see this played out again, are they? There's Tedesco on the number 9. And Tim Ferry behind him. Ferry has moved his way up to 6th.
As we look at the leaderboard, actually Nathan Ramsey has worked his way past Millsaps again. So Millsaps was forward, fell, came forward again, and now it's kind of backed up one more position. But a rider that always goes forward is Tim Ferry. We've seen him put on so many strong rides. You know, tonight's no different.
And also one of the veteran riders into his 30s.
And if you look at this seconds behind leader on lap 13, he was 30 seconds behind. Now he's only 32 seconds behind. So in 4 laps, only lost about a half a second a lap on the leader. And Chad Reed has been phenomenal. That tells you how good Tim Ferry has been tonight. Track position and his start is what has really hurt him.
There you see the Yamaha rider, number 25, Nathan Ramsey. Nathan listed back in 7th.
Nathan Ramsey, yeah, teammate of our leader, Chad Reed, so got to think that these guys have got their bikes dialed in, whether it's 2008 or 86.
And their team manager, Larry Brooks, competed in that 1986 race. As did the team manager for the Honda guys.
I tell you,
Eric Kehoe was in that race.
There was a lot of big names in that 86 main event. Kehoe was 15th, team manager for Factory Honda.
Both of those guys in attendance here tonight, as well as Jim Hollywood Holly, who's working on the internet version of the shows. He was in that race as well. A lot of the people competed here that night, here for the races in different capacities today. Chad Reed, yes, on your way to another checkered flag. Chad sitting, looking for his second win of 2008.
And what a glorious night to go out and win a Supercross main event. with the theme and the essence of this weekend. Chad Reed has really embraced it, had the mullet going earlier tonight, but in the main event, he's had nothing but a fantastic ride. Very impressive, and there are some big Supercross stars here to witness it.
Chad Reed came into the year rested, took the outdoor season off, said, I'm going to make a run for this championship. Came out of the box and won Anaheim 1. He comes back to finish second at Phoenix and wins Anaheim 2. He will extend the points lead as Chad Reed has his second win of 2008. We'll be right back. Became the first rider to sweep all 3 Anaheim rounds. Chad Reed is 2/3 of the way there by winning here tonight in Anaheim. He takes the victory over Josh Hill, Kevin Windham, and Mike Alessi, and Ivan Tedesco, your top 5. With Chad Reed is our Aaron Bates down on the victory podium.
Maybe it was the wig that got him through the day, but I doubt it was that. Chad, you were on fire all day long. You looked extremely comfortable. What was it about this track that worked for you tonight?
I don't know, it was just different, you know. It was really technical, and they put a lot of sand in it. And, you know, we've been kind of racing the same old tracks ever since I got here in 02, and it's getting old. And this was really exciting, a lot of fun. And, man, it sucks. It sucks real bad that James is out. It was, I think we could have had a good battle tonight. I felt awesome on this track, and I was ready to take it to him. And, you know, it's a real bummer, but I just want to give a shout out to all the guys that, man, the Salmon Wow, Yamaha, Fusion, they're, you know, they're doing a great job, and, you know, we just put it out there, put it in cruise control, and, you know, just had a fun race.
How do you feel about the retro throwback night?
I had fun with it, you know. It's bring back the mullet and some old school gear, and the gear I actually had on was the actual gear, and it was a little bit slick on the seat, and I couldn't get a good start, so I didn't wear it in the main, but. Man, I had a lot of fun out here, and you know, we're just looking at the long-term goal, which is to get a title this year.
Congratulations on being the points leader.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Chad is hoping to be at the top of the points when we make our way to Las Vegas to Sam Boyd Stadium the first weekend in May. We sure hope you can join us there. That's where the championship will be handed out. The crown, the title, the big bucks, and all the fun that Vegas has to offer. If you can't be there with us, you can certainly watch it all on Speed. Kevin Windham, 16 points back in the championship battle. And look, if James Stewart does not compete tonight, drops to 4th. We'll have to see what happens with that injury. Let's go back down to Aaron.
Picking up second place, a very impressive performance by Josh Hill. Josh, this has got to be extremely overwhelming for you. Only your 3rd race in a Supercross class at that. How does this feel?
I'm so happy. I can't even put it into words. I mean, ever since the Nationals got over pretty much, I just been putting my whole heart into doing this and working my butt off. So just finally paid off.
All the hard work has finally paid off. Congratulations to you. Kevin, a whole new rejuvenated, refreshed Kevin at that, making some flow out of a track that doesn't flow. Is there hope for you to come back into this championship?
Well, anything's possible, but, you know, Chad's riding strong, and I hate to see the bad luck for James, but right now we're taking it one podium at a time, and we got 2 in a row now. It feels great, and the 86 track here was a little bit difficult to find the flow, but I think by the end of the night I felt good, and I got to thank the Torco Racing Fuels Honda team.
Congratulations once again on being up here on the podium.
Thanks a lot.
Maybe it's because he shaved off that big mustache he had going the first 2 rounds. Here's a look at our Toyota moving forward schedule. The next couple of races shift over to CBS as we move on to San Francisco, and then back here to Anaheim, San Diego, and Houston. But don't forget, all the Supercross light shows are on the home of the Supercross lights, Speeds. Make sure you catch all the great Supercross action coming your way. Chad Reed wins another one here at Angel Stadium, and the first 2 rounds in Anaheim belong to the rider out of Australia. For Aaron Bates and Jeff Emig, I'm Ralph Shaheen. So long from Southern California.